Yo, welcome to the Beat Lab. Here's my guys, as always, Leisure Suit and Mark, our new co-host. So we're pumped up to have Mark on the podcast. Yeah. So, hey, you know what? I'm really pumped this week because we got my good friend Mike Monsiviaz. He's a drummer extraordinaire for many musical acts in the San Diego area. How you doing, Mike?
I'm good. How are you, man?
Dude, I'm good. I'm just glad you're here.
Nice. Me too.
Dude, how he came down from Sacramento. He made the journey. He stopped through Bakersfield to hang out with us. So we're super stoked, man. What's going on, man?
Not much. Just trying to get some time in with the family before I go to the East Coast, man.
Yeah, that's gonna be a gnarly move. You got to leave your cool bands. Now you got to start new bands or join new bands or what?
I don't know yet. I don't know if I'm going to do music out there. I probably will. I try to say that I'm not going to, but I keep falling back into it.
Don't say that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
You say you're not, even if you said you weren't, you know you would.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I said the same thing last time I started playing music again. You know, I was like, I'm not going to play music when I get back. And now I'm in two bands, full time, and then whoever else needs.
So you're
work.
playing for Atomic Groove, right?
Right.
And the Republic of Music.
Yes.
So talk to me about what it's like being in like a working band, like I mean, like it's like an every weekend thing, right?
Right. It definitely decreases your social life.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always out there doing something, all the nights of the week that everyone else is. So besides that, it's awesome. I mean, I like the bands that I'm with, so I don't dread going to work, so to say, with them.
It's a different avenue of being a professional musician. Like when you're sitting around and you're banging on your drums in your bedroom, you're thinking you're going to be a rock star, and then for some, that happens. But then for others, if you want to be a professional working musician, you've got to go the route that you went, right?
Yeah, I mean, I know I was in original bands, obviously, since I was a kid, and I don't know anybody from who I played music with back in the day that has made it.
Yeah,
that is at that status. Anyone who's out there playing, making money is doing cover stuff like I am.
Yeah,
so.
And it makes sense. I mean, people when they go somewhere and they want to hear music, they want to hear something that they know.
It seems like it's got to be pretty complicated though. Like you're doing like a big old amount of music, not just set to one type of music. You know what I mean? It's not like just metal. It's like, shit, today we might have to play Britney Spears.
Yeah, actually,
you know what I mean?
I just got the set list for the April 1st show, and there's Britney Spears on that set list.
Holy shit.
So,
What song?
Oops, I did it again.
I think it's a medley. So I think there's
medley?
like 3 or 4 Britney songs. I think it's Oops, I Did It Again, Hit Me One More Time, and I can't remember the other one off the top of my head.
Oh,
Toxic has to be on there.
Yeah,
that's
I like that song, so it doesn't even bother me to play it,
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff you can get down on because it's real simple, so you can kind of lay into it. And
Well, you're learning like how many songs do you have to learn like to say for one? I mean, are you talking like 50 to 100? Or are you talking like over that?
The typical, we usually get a huge list, and the list is usually about 70, 80 songs.
Wow.
We never get through that. Sometimes we won't even get through half of that.
Oh.
So, we try to keep the amount of new stuff that we bring in every gig to a minimum. So it keeps the workload low. We're not sitting there at rehearsal for 8 hours trying to learn, 12 new songs for these, for people. So over the time I've been doing it, I've just been learning new songs just on the side. Because I think for Republic of Music, I had a master list when I first started playing with them, and it was like 1,500 songs on there. So a lot of that stuff I knew in my head. You hear it on the radio, and it's all popular stuff. But as far as applying it to the drum kit, it took some time. And I'm just now getting real comfortable with the amount of music that is thrown our way during each gig, and I'm okay with that. It doesn't like freak me out when I sit down and I'm like, Oh man, that's a lot of stuff, you know. And yeah, and besides that kind of stuff, you do like cocktail hours and stuff like that, and you have a completely different setup. I bought a separate drum kit specifically for stuff like that, because then it's like a little jazz. It's the little Ludwig
breakbeats.
Yeah, the breakbeats one. Thing's awesome. It's tiny. It sounds pretty good, and I bought that specifically to like do like cocktail stuff. A lot of times that's in a different area than where the main show would be.
So when you come to these shows, you'll bring both kits and you'll have them set up on different stages or in different areas.
Yeah. It's not every show, but when it's required.
When it's required. So, can you talk about like how do you go through learning these songs? Like when you're going through, you'll watch guys on YouTube and they'll do like covers. Are you covering it note for note, or are you getting like you're gonna hit the stops and you're gonna hit the like signature drum fill, or how does it work for you?
I'll usually learn it to a minimum of what it will be. I don't know what someone who is not a musician will be able to like recognize. You know, I will not. I usually don't learn note for note right off the bat. Just it's too much work. Like I don't read music. You know, I just learn it by ear, or if someone's playing a video of it, I'll do that. But
yeah,
so I'll learn it to a minimum to get through the song. You know, so it's recognizable.
Yeah.
And then usually that song will come through the list from then on.
And you get more and more comfortable with it.
I'll re-listen to it and start getting the little intricacies, and I will try and get as close as I can. You know, within a.
So how far before the gig are you getting you get a set list, or is it by request, or how does it work?
Depends. Some of the stuff is booked, a year in advance, so we kind of know what's coming. Some of the stuff we'll get the set list the day before. We won't even have a rehearsal, but it will be songs that we're pretty familiar with.
Yeah.
So.
I think it's interesting because I have no experience doing this. I've always, just like you before this, I've only played original music. So it's like, Mark and I were talking about this, and it was like, man, we should put together something like what you're doing. And I'm thinking about it, I'm like, man, but how could you possibly learn that much music and learn it like meticulously? It seems like super overwhelming.
It was at first, for sure. Just plugging away at it and keep doing it and keep playing, and eventually the stuff becomes second nature, like anything that you've written yourself and you've played multiple times.
Yeah.
But it can be a challenge, especially for me. I don't read, so I kind of don't have anything just but my ear to listen. I could teach myself to read in that period of time that I've been learning all this stuff. But I've been, I'm busy doing other things.
Yeah.
Music's not my only thing. So.
Yeah, we're pretty similar in that regard. We have many things that we're passionate about, right?
So is there a difference in the two bands? Is there a difference in songs that you're singing, you're playing and stuff?
Yeah, the Republican music stuff that we do, it's pretty similar, but that stuff is more customized to the individuals who are playing for, and we'll learn like whole songs in their entirety. The Atomic Groove, at least the stuff that I'm doing with them now, is all medley stuff. So we'll have, the first 40 minutes will be a continuous song. Like there won't be any breaks in between. They will all flow into the next song. Some of the songs, the structure's been rearranged. The keys are always changing, and the starts and stops, they just flow right into the next song. So there's not like a lull in between, and it's kind of like a live DJ.
Yeah,
really. Yeah. Everything flows into each other. So that would be the biggest difference. Some of the songs cross over, but a lot of the Atomic Groove stuff is more like way top 40, way dance oriented stuff. Yeah. But I mean, we play Van Halen and Black Sabbath. We throw that stuff in there too. Nice. Because some of that stuff people get into, even though it's kind of outside of what would be dance music. Yeah. People get down to it.
It's popular though.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah, if someone hears a song from back in the 80s that they haven't heard, I mean, that gets you more excited than hearing like a Rihanna song that you heard on the radio 40 times.
Right. What person's gonna, stop and give you a weird look when you play like "Don't Stop Believing."
Yeah.
You know, when that intro comes in, people aren't going to be like, "Ugh,"
No.
you know,
Yeah, bummer.
"Yeah, weak."
Do you ever miss playing original music like you did with Endoxy or
Not really.
no?
No, I love those guys like my brothers, man. But the tension of and the I don't know. I think the tension, like getting all that original stuff down. People got, you know, they're writing songs from the heart and they want to express this stuff in a very specific way, and not everyone's always on board with that.
That's a good way. We were talking about
You
that
know.
the other day. That's a good way to put it. I don't know if it's so much egos. It's just like you said, somebody
think
writes something and then they show it to the band. It's like, dude, do you want the honest opinion? We gotta, you know.
I think that's exactly what it is, though. Is there's always too many egos in the band,
Yeah.
and then some people are like, "Well, that's not how I feel," you know. Let's do a song on how I feel, you know. Everybody wants to be all sensitive, you know.
Right, and I'm not.
It's weird.
Yeah, and I'm not a songwriter. Like I don't know. I guess I play drums and I write drum parts, but yeah, it's just hard getting all those different people together and lots of emotions, and you know, you're struggling musicians. You know, you're not making a whole lot of money. You're packing your gear up a lot more often than you would like to, and going to play when you're not playing, you're rehearsing.
Well,
So
I think seeing like I was talking about that Artifact
Yeah.
documentary,
Yep.
and seeing how the business is with people that are on labels, and it's kind of like that with everything. Music business is hard to make money. It's hard. It's hard work.
Especially the original side. I don't envy anyone doing that kind of stuff.
There's
So,
not a whole lot of money there, you know.
yeah, I'm not.
Well, it seems like if you're in it, like if you look at it, well, I'm 38 years old, so I've listened to a lot of stuff and I've seen a lot of stories from other people that have done it. But it seems like if you're in it for the money, you're in the wrong business, because you're headed for a road that's gonna break your heart. You know what I mean? Because you ain't making money unless you're somebody like Metallica, you know, somebody that's up there on the upper side.
Right.
Of greatness.
Yeah, even the bands
basically.
that we really look up to, you know, those guys are struggling, man. Like those guys are not rich, you know.
No, it's hard. It's hard, man.
They're playing their ass off just to make ends meet. They've got to tour constantly. It's, you know.
It's very respectable though for the people that do it. I'm like, I respect you for doing it, because I'm like, shit, dude. I need my 40 hours a week. You know, I'm dying on this cast right now. It's disability shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you've been
crazy.
down for a minute.
yeah, for a whole month.
God.
But that's only getting 70% of what I was getting before that, you know? So, you know, I need 100% of what I was getting, you know? And I'm like, shit, for me to just go play for some, you know, a couple $100 here and there, and then, you know, how are you supposed to support a family like that? You know, like,
It's about the long haul, man, for sure. With original music, you have to have the heart. I mean, but when you start out playing any instrument, I'm sure all of you are the same. Like, you don't sit there and go, okay, I want to play covers. That's what I want to do when you're a kid playing guitar or drums.
Right.
But even though you do, that's how you learn. I don't know if that's how you learn.
No, for sure. I mean, my dad was super big into 70s, you know, metal, quote unquote, back, you know, Zeppelin and Sabbath, Van Halen. I guess that was more 80s, but who's the other? The Keys.
Rush?
No, not Rush.
Yeah,
I love
Rush.
Rush, but he wasn't into them. It's too progressive for him. He's just, you know, old school.
Yes.
Like Aerosmith and dang, what the hell is the name of that?
Ted Nugent.
No. Anyway, it'll come to me later when it's not relevant.
Yeah. What did you so like when you started playing drums, what did you grow up playing to?
Led Zeppelin, almost exclusively. Like I just put in a Zeppelin album. My dad had a huge record collection, so I just pulled down. I don't know if I don't think I started in any kind of order or whatever. I just kind of pulled down an album and put it in, and hopefully it wasn't scratched, and you know, kind of went to town, tried to emulate what I was hearing. So
I gotta ask this question just because it always seems to be a part of my little repertoire. Metallica or Megadeth?
Oh, Metallica.
See,
Yeah, I'm with Mike.
There's some weird
I'm with both.
There's some weird Megadeth fans out there.
Leisure being one of them.
Yeah.
Leisure's one. He's like, yeah,
Yeah.
you know, fucking Megadeth's better than Metallica. I'm like, that's.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things where you have a chance to you pick the favorite or the underdog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. And I didn't want to pick the Metallica that's the worldwide, everybody loves Metallica. So I said, I'm gonna go with Megadeth. I like Megadeth. So now I've begun to love Megadeth and just Metallica's like whatever, you know, to me.
That's
Yeah.
blasphemy.
I like Hanger 16 on Guitar Hero.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Off of
I'm not
Rust in Peace.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's not a good band and that's not a talented man, but yeah, given the option,
Yeah.
you know, the amount of work that Metallica has put
See,
out.
and that's the great thing about music is you do have the chance to make your selection. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's
go
awesome.
capitalism.
Yeah.
Capitalism. Hey, with that, you know, the most, you know, where Metallica sold out is where they made all their money.
Yeah, it's just kind of sad.
The Black Album.
I've seen him one time and you know, it was okay. Lamb of God was better.
Oh, did you see him at Save Mart?
I don't
Center?
remember.
I think I saw that tour.
I don't remember where it was, but
The
it
Sword.
was Lamb of God and Metallica, and everyone in Metallica is pretty good. Lars,
We talk of Lars.
Lars.
guy, he's you know,
Daily.
he is the perfect, to me, in my opinion, he's the perfect drummer for that band. That guy, you know, I don't know, he sets the stage for some of the more other theatrical and complicated stuff that Metallica does. If you had somebody like Portnoy or, you know, somebody like weird like that, I think it would be too much. It would be too much. You know, people can get down with some weird melody, but like rhythmically, you have to have something pretty consistent.
Yeah.
You know, and he didn't do too much weird stuff.
No, and you know, I grew up idolizing him. You know, Lars Ulrich, like that was the guy that I emulated when I was a kid. You know, like I didn't listen to Led Zeppelin. I listened to Metallica. You know, I put in Master of Puppets, and that was, you know, that was the thing that took me away from listening to like Madonna and Michael Jackson and MC Hammer and Snow, Informer, right? Like I was listening to bullshit, right? You're a little kid. So, you know, my dad brought in, I was listening to freaking some bullshit, and my dad brought in that LP. It was on vinyl of Master of Puppets.
Sick.
And that was what me and my buddy up the street heard, and that's when we started playing music. You know, we're like, fuck, like we got to do this. This is tight. So, you know, growing up and listening to Metallica at the time was revolutionary. You know, every drummer that was playing drums back then, even when I started playing in the 90s, you looked up to Lars Ulrich. It wasn't until after the Napster thing and all this other bullshit where everybody got on this like hate Lars bandwagon. You listen to Metallica, dude. Metallica is Lars Ulrich, dude. And his drumming is iconic on those records, dude. Especially on like And Justice for All. That's the most technical shit he's ever done, and it's masterful. Dead air. Nobody even fucking said anything, dude.
Masterful.
It's
You
fucking
said
masterful, dude.
You know what's the crazy thing is that's why you are like, oh my god, it's so masterful. You know, like, but like me, I think Lars Ulrich is just like whatever. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't even sound complicated to me, but to this guy, oh my god, did you hear that?
Well,
like,
I will agree with him on the fact that like I said earlier, that Lars is the drummer for that band. Like that, I think he was perfect for them, you know, and they would not be who they are, I think, without him. If it wasn't for, you know, what he brought to the table, however uncomplicated or masterful it might have been, you know, he's definitely integral to the way that, you know, that end product came out. So,
well, if you've been together for how many years has Metallica been around?
They put out their first demo in 79.
What?
No Life Till Leather.
79.
81 was when Kill 'Em All came out. So, I mean, they're rocking on close to 40 years together.
Yeah.
If you've stayed with them in that band that long, you must work for that band. You know, like I guess what you do works for that band.
Yeah.
To stay in something that long. But It's just not my cup.
It's a collective thing to me. I've never looked at. I mean, of course, when I grew up playing guitar, Kirk Hammett to me that's when I heard that, it was like you with Lars, dude. Like,
yeah,
that's all I wanted to play, you know. So I think every one of them has their own unique thing, and I definitely, obviously, Lars, he's the perfect drummer for him. I mean, it works together so good.
See, and that's where I think, like, when you come to now, like, I just think there wasn't enough, like, with Lars, he wasn't doing a lot. He did what he had to do to maintain, you know. And, you know, Kurt Hammett and them, they're jamming, you know, they're getting off. And maybe because they were more technical, it goes with it. I don't have to be that technical. I just got to hold the fort right here and get it done, you know. But now, like, you got these bands like Periphery, who their drummers like so technical, and then their guitar players are so technical. I'm like, damn, the whole thing's technical, like the whole thing. And there's a lot of bands out there that have that, like, just like Intervals. We were just listening to them, and that whole band is just like really technical. And I'm like, damn.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So musically, they're awesome, but you really limit yourself on the amount of people that you're going to be able to be exposed to. It's not, it's not super palatable. And to want to be a successful musician, you have to me, I would never join a progressive metal band to be in a successful band. I would do that to play progressive metal music, to get that stuff out of my system, but it'd be really hard pressed to convince me to join a band like that. 'Cause it's just, you're playing in tiny, for the most part, tiny places. Mm-hmm. You're traveling a lot, and it's playing that kind of stuff isn't easy either. It's taxing. Right. It can be taxing.
Super hard.
And it's just it's a lot of work for,
very little return.
Return outside of just
monetarily.
Out of, knowing in your soul that you play in a freaking progressive metal band, which is cool. I envy those people. If Dream Theater called me up today, I'd be like, peace. Bye, Ashley.
You know what? These guys that play in these bands, though, they're the composers of this generation, right? They're the Mozarts. They're the ones that are pushing the limits. But like you said, it isn't palatable. It's way, way too much. And people think like a band like Tool is too much. Tool is so dated compared to anything that's out these days as far as progressive music, and they're all virtuoso musicians. They're great, and it really sucks that the art doesn't return to them what they put in, and it's not fair in a way, life ain't fair, but these guys are the best at what they do, and they're fucking broke, and it's sad. It's sad that the best players that play these instruments are fucking broke, essentially. They're not making millions of dollars, and they're the best at what they do. It's crazy to me. I don't know. What do you think?
Capitalism.
Well, you gotta end up in everything. If you want to make money off of something, you're pretty much gonna have to put in some money to make money off of that. And the ones that put in the money on all these bands are them record labels. You know what I mean? So they're going to take all their money back. Yeah. And they're going to keep majority of it too.
Yeah, they're not going to be putting the time and effort into something that's not going to give them a return.
Yeah.
For sure. And that unfortunately, that limits what you're exposed to. Think of all the great albums, that have been written but never put down, recorded for anyone else to listen to because of lack of funding or equipment or whatnot.
Or ego.
Well, there's Kickstarter, though. Like, it's so different now, dude, the music industry to make it. I mean, you're not hanging up flyers on, telephone poles and on mailboxes anymore. You're having a Facebook page and you're promoting it that way,
Yeah, you're grinding on Twitter,
media.
throwing out, Instagram and all these other things. That's where these bands are found now. It's nice because what are we sitting in right here? I mean, this is a full-blown recording studio. It's in my home. And, when all of us were kids, I mean, do you remember the process that we had to go through to record a demo?
4-track.
I have one of those Tascam freaking cassette players. But you
cassette.
had to,
What's that? What is that?
What?
What's a cassette?
It's like a miniature reel-to-reel, Mark. What's a reel-to-reel? No, but you had to pay and you had to go, and like it was like this big thing. Like, dude, we're going to the studio. It was like I remember going to school and back, dude, our band's gonna do a demo. We're going to the studio, and it was a big fucking deal. Now, everybody, if you're half worth a shit at doing anything in music, you have a freaking computer and you have a DAW and you have some mics. Everybody has a recording studio.
I could probably replicate some of the best punk albums ever on my iPhone. Just straight up record. The sound quality is exactly the same.
Yeah.
The performance is the same.
Exactly.
So what was I listening to? What's that song? Yeah, if you listen to that recording,
fucking
terrible
awful.
Sound quality. I was listening to it the other day, and I don't know what I was listening to it on, but I was like, man, they're like the production and everything compared to what we listen to now was just super subpar. Huge song though. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that song.
Yeah.
A lot. We get skewed now because you'll go back and you listen to a lot of albums and they've all been remastered for digital. So you don't hear how bad some of this shit really sounded 20 years ago.
Right.
But you go back and you'll find some of those like, lower tier artists, like you're saying, some of the punk bands. And I listened to a hardcore record that I really loved in high school. And I found it on iTunes. I'm like, oh, hell yeah, download that shit. I played that. I'm like, oh, my God, this is fucking awful. Like, it sounds like you recorded it on not even an iPhone. An iPhone has a good mic on it. It's like one of those Cricket wireless fucking, like Android.
Metro PCS.
Metro PCS
Hey,
phones.
as you go.
It was really bad.
Yeah.
I checked the record label, and it was a major label release. It was on like Capitol, and I'm like, I can't fucking believe that they put this shit out. It was like 20 years ago.
Yeah, I think once. Well, it seemed like once CDs came out, like you kind of had to, up the par because the range that you could acquire and with CDs, and then the speaker technology. I think a lot of stuff started getting
Got
really
a little
good.
Everything was crisper, and it really made your music sound like shit if it wasn't on point.
Yeah, I made the analogy the other day. It's like going back and like playing PS1 on like a 2-inch, like 72-inch big screen. It's like so pixelated, it like gives you a headache because you can't make out like what you're looking at.
Yeah.
So
you're like playing those old Nintendo emulators or something on your TV. You're like, man, this is terrible. It's so bad, and everything's progressed like that. Music. Video games, everything, right?
Yeah, I got another aspect that I've always wanted people to talk about. Like when you guys in the bands that you guys have been in and stuff like that, because all three of you guys have been in bands, except for me, until now. But back to my point. You guys obviously are out there playing, and somebody's gonna like you. Somebody's gonna like the shit that you do, and they're gonna be a fan of you. And when they approach you, it's either you're gonna talk to them, you have time for them, something, but they are a fan. But I've been to shows where I've seen kids, I'm talking about young kids that are like idolizing these dudes, and they're like, oh, look, he's standing right there, and they're going to talk to him, and they're just like, like, get on my face, kid. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh, that's so fucked up, dude. Because these people are buying your shirts. Their moms are buying your CDs. Like,
they're the reason you're here.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly,
Why else would you be doing it? Like, you're making music to put out to fans.
So, like, on your guys's, with your guys' experience, what is it like? Like, what do you guys do? How are you guys with people that like your shit?
I try to engage anyone who tries to engage me. Sometimes it sucks because, like they either I wouldn't say they're starstruck, but a lot of times, the conversation is like, I like your music. Oh, cool, thanks, and that's kind of like where it stops, and you're sitting there staring at the person, or you'll be trying to talk to them. You'll be actually in a conversation, and I'll be like, I have to go do this next set. I have to go grab something. I feel bad, like I'm like I don't have time for you right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's a bummer. You know, I remember playing it, playing like sets in Hollywood or something, and you know, people are coming up to you. It's flattering, you know, because they're vibing your music, and you know, like all of us, you know, we started playing when we were kids, and you get to this point where you're finally playing out in front of people, and people are digging it. You're stoked. So, anytime I've been in a band and I'm playing anywhere, I always try to be accommodating. Because it's like, man, those are the guys that you want to buy your merch or buy your album or something. So you don't want them to leave with a bad taste in their mouth. Because meeting a musician that you really looked up to and they end up being an asshole, it would be like the worst thing ever. If it was like if you met Lars, you know, for me, like the guy that I looked up to, put up on a pedestal, and you go to talk to him and he'd be like, yeah, fuck off. It's like, man, I spent my whole youth, like, I had a poster of you and your Tama drums, and it was... You know, and here you are, and you're a fucking prick. That would be heartbreaking, you know, for anybody that vibes your shit. So,
yeah, I agree. I mean, playing, dude, to me though, like having somebody, I don't think about it as deep as you do, as far as like merch and sales and like. I mean, it's just the ultimate like compliment when anybody says, dude, like I like your music. I mean, to me, that just gets me super, super stoked. Yeah. And I think that's the reason why. I mean, musicians are musicians. They want people to like their stuff. They don't want somebody just, okay, see you, and that was okay, you know. But I don't understand, dude, these stuck up asshole musicians, dude. I don't get it. I have no clue.
Have you guys met anybody that's been a prick?
Yes, Yngwie Malmsteen.
Yngwie Malmsteen.
I looked up to him, dude, my whole, like, growing up, like, big time. And I've been to the NAMM show like 3 or 4 times, and one time I was like, all right, I finally get to meet him. I waited in line and everything. I was all bouncing up and down, you know, waiting. And dude, I got up there and I was like, hey, man, nice to meet you. He looks at me and was just like, huh. Literally did that. Looked the other way and I was like, okay. And then the guy taking the picture, like I have a picture of me and him, and he's like looking off to the side, and I'm all, you know, like disappointed. Yeah. And ever since then, dude, I don't know.
Ever since I started listening to heavy metal, you know, anything that's in the metal, those guys are pretty cool, man. Like,
yeah, that's
the guys
very rare.
in that.
Yeah.
I've ran into nothing but cool dudes, you know?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you one thing. We went to a concert one time in Santa Ana for Warren G. Mm-hmm. And the motherfucker showed up 2 hours fucking late. You know what I mean? Like, we were there listening to a fucking tribute to Nate Dogg for fucking 2 hours. You know, fucking Nate Dogg don't have 2 hours of music. You know what I mean? But fuck, you know what I mean? Like, we're sitting there, and the motherfucker comes, and he didn't even apologize when he showed up. You know what I mean? Like, the motherfuckers, everybody was still there. And we came from fucking like 3.5 hours away. Yeah. I'm like, fuck, motherfucker, say sorry, say my bad. You know what I mean? Like something. But he went up there and he probably sang like fucking 20 seconds of every song that he had, because the venue was like, hey, dude, you're over time. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta shut it down. So he had to do like 20 seconds of each song that he ever made, and then fucking it was done. Fucking didn't stick around to kick it with people outside, nothing. He just fucking was gone. I was just like, oh, that's fucked up. You know what I mean? But
last time you spend a fucking nickel on that motherfucker.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. I had a lot of bad experiences, like rap-wise.
With hip-hop?
Yeah, I've had some bad experiences, man. But ever since I got into this, I don't find too many shows that I don't like. Who is it? Poison the Well. That they gave me a bad experience one time just on their sound. You know, like I was like, oh shit, like. Cause I was high on them. I was Poison the Well.
Poison the Well was the shit.
Dude, I had the same experience, man. I went and saw them in Hatebreed in San Diego, and I was disappointed in the way they sounded. And I don't know how much of it was them or the sound guy. Hatebreed, I've seen like 4 times, and those guys have been consistent every single time. Slayer too has been like the most consistent bands that I've seen. You know, I've seen
Slayer just played here in Bakersfield Friday night.
Those guys kill it, you know, for being as old as they are and the kind of music that they play.
I'm a little too scared of Slayer.
Yeah, me
too. They're people's grandpas, dude. Yeah. Like they're people's. They're like old.
I'm scared of those motherfuckers.
They're uncles, dude. They got beards. They you know.
Yeah, they all get the the cheap Grand Slam at Denny's when they go because they're senior citizens now. They're eating off the golden menu. That's off funny. The back.
Yeah. I haven't had too many bad experiences. I I don't remember. I guess a lot of the people that I've met. The one I do remember was a good experience. I went to I took my godmother's kids for their first concert to go see The Human Abstract and All That Remains.
Nice.
And I bought a special pass to like talk to them and visit with them after the show, and they were super cool.
Yeah.
Super cool. From the guys from both bands, even the drummer from Human Abstract, the guy was like, looked like he was gonna die. Like he was like pretty sick, and he still sat there and talked with us for a little bit.
Yeah, I met Vinnie Paul right here in Bakersfield. God, that dude was like the fucking coolest motherfucker.
Yeah,
man.
that's cool,
He's a
man.
cool
Like
I
fucking cool, man.
Big time.
I
Big time
love
fan of Vinnie
freaking
Paul.
Pantera, dude.
Dude, he's so fucking cool.
I
man.
love Cowboys from Hell was like my intro into like metal. I had listened to Metallica, like the Black Album, but that wasn't metal in comparison to what Pantera was at that point.
So, you know, since you're a Pantera fan, I gotta ask you, what was your reaction to Phil on his little?
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it?
No, I haven't. I don't. I
We talked about this before, but
Yeah, it's
I've
a
never
couple
seen.
podcasts
I've
ago.
never known like somebody hasn't came up yet that was a diehard fucking Pantera fan. You know what I mean?
I don't subscribe to Pantera's like.
Ideology.
Yeah, I don't really subscribe to really hardly any band's ideology. I find it very rare that I connect with a band like lyrically, like what they have to say.
Yeah.
Is not what I have to say. I don't have the same feelings as them very often. Pantera being one of them. I just love the music. So I saw them one time with who the hell was it? I don't remember who it was. I think it was Morbid Angel.
2000. There was like the Reinventing the Steel tour.
I saw him. Yeah, with Morbid Angel down. It was down at SD2, and they sounded awesome. But the kind of people that were down in that pit resembled the kind of remarks that man had to say, or what I've heard that he had to say. I didn't listen to it.
See, and this is the thing too, is like, I am not gonna tell people what to think, what to say, what to, their beliefs, nothing like that. You know what I mean? But I heard he came out and apologized afterwards, like later on. And I'll tell you this, and from the view of the world, we live in a very forgiving world. You know what I mean? Like, at least the United States, very forgiving. You know what I mean? The people here are very forgiving. If you're sincere enough, they will forgive you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because that's what I heard. I heard he apologized, and I said, okay, well, if you apologize and it was sincere enough, then you will be forgiven. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that
but
seems
hopefully it's sincere enough. You know,
from my view of him and his attitude across a lot of things, that's pretty big of him. If he actually did that,
yeah.
If he came back and apologized, that's pretty. If he's sincere about it, at least.
That one remark, I mean, you got to know, man, that fucked his whole band out of their whole summer, dude. So, they had to cancel a whole European tour, and a band like that's where they're going to go make their money. That was. I'm sure every one of those guys that's in Damage Plan, they were counting on that paycheck. So that's huge, man. I mean, it almost forces his hand. He had to come out and apologize. So it just makes me question whether or not that's sincere.
We'll never know. There's no way of you.
Did you see the video, Mark?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, and I know you saw it. You just haven't seen it yet. It's so disgusting to me, dude. How it was like you can tell, like with the intensity in which he did it on stage, that he meant that.
Yeah, I've heard about it, and like I said, I've been to the show, and I know some people who are super fans of Pantera, and they're kind of, they definitely lean that direction. Unfortunately, and that's.
I got it. I listened like to him. Like there's some of that stuff in my playlist. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it was just disappointing to me. That the most part, just like, oh man, that's fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, there's a band called Lost Prophets. You guys know who Lost Prophets are?
Yeah.
Okay, so their fucking lead singer, Ian. You know what happened to him? Okay, so he fucking, and this was to me because I loved Lost Prophets. I was like,
they were big, like what, 10, 12 years ago. Something like
I went to a concert and I fucking had the fucking horns up, and this motherfucker like touch the horns. You know, I was like, oh my God, I feel the electricity. You know, like I was like, oh, I was like never gonna fucking wash my fingertips ever.
Tip
you know,
to tip, you know.
but so I'm like fucking, oh yeah, you know. And then one day this guy comes to work and he's like, hey motherfucker. I'm like, what's up? He goes, don't you like that fucking Lost Prophet motherfuckers? And I was like, yeah, Lost Prophets, yeah, you know, Rooftops, cool, right? He's like, yeah, they were in the news, something about fucking molesting kids. I was like, what? So I go check it out. Oh, dude, this motherfucker, he's in jail for life right now.
So did you wash your hand or
Oh shit, I was fucking scrubbing with the fucking Brillo pad and shit. I was like, oh, but you know what?
Paper.
evidence on there?
But like shit like that, that's a fucking complete letdown, dude.
Yeah.
Like total letdown. It's like takes the air out of you. Like fuck you. Like I can't even look their music up anymore. I can't listen to not one song from them based off of the shit that he did. You know, like I won't support none of it at all. You know, and it's fucked up because it's like damn. And I think that's the whole thing with the Pantera. Pantera got fucking a grip of fucking fans, dude. You know, like
Well, they're definitely one of the biggest bands
up
of the
there with
90s.
the Metallica and all that shit.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like fucking when you think of heavy metal, Pantera gets thrown in there. You know what I mean?
To me, like he's like you were saying, Mike. He's been known to have certain views, and it's if this was like the first thing he'd ever done, I don't think it would be a big deal to as many people. But
Yeah.
people know like kind of what his thing is, and he's done it before. And to me, like what you were talking about with the Lost Prophets, dude. Like now, every time I listen to one of their songs,
You think about that.
I think about him and the way he is, and it
turns you off.
It's a big turn off, dude.
Yeah.
And I love Dime and I love Pantera, and like they were so huge for me too growing up. So it's just, I mean, I still listen to them, but they don't have that same impact on me anymore as they used to. Like I heard a Pantera song and I used to be fucking excited,
Yeah.
and now I'm just kind of like, yeah, oh
Yeah, he's a
him.
fucking
yeah.
racist.
So
What about, speaking of dysfunctional guys, you know, I heard Tim Lambesis, I think he got out of prison.
Did he?
Oh,
Yeah.
no shit.
And
Is that legit?
which kind of fucks with me because I was really wanting to like start writing that guy to get him to parole to my house to start a band with me. You know?
fucking start a band, bro.
Hey Tim, like, you know, get a fresh start, leave San Diego and come to fucking Bakersfield, play in a band with me and Mark
Fuck, dude.
and Leisure Suit.
Fuck.
Get to the chopper.
Dude, Double Brutal. What was the name of that band?
Austrian Death Machine.
Austrian Death Machine, dude.
Hell yeah,
Every song
get
is
to the
about
chopper.
if it bleeds, I could kill it. Or
Fuck.
oh
So
man,
you said something about their like, who said that these guys were gonna or Lambesis was gonna start another band with some other guys like.
I think that was one of Brian Storm's fucking
Yeah.
Metal Sucks like satire articles,
Was that what it
dude.
is?
Yeah, that he's gonna start.
Got me. I
Well,
fell for it.
everybody in As I Lay Dying quit the band, right? And they started Woven.
Well, I don't know if they
It's
quit
just
the
them with
band.
the new singer.
They just
Yeah.
didn't have Tim Lambesis, so they can't do As I Lay Dying. You know
Well, I
what
mean,
I
they could have.
I'll tell you this. No, they could have, but
Dude,
I don't
it's
think-
hard to carry
it's
on.
hard
when
to
a
keep
band
that
loses a
name,
singer,
yeah.
man.
Yeah,
with the new singer,
they did
it's
the right
hard.
thing for
It's very
sure. I
hard.
don't like when bands do that when they get a brand new singer and still
I
call them
s-
the same band. I don't
Yeah.
like
I'll
it.
tell you
seen
what, man.
It's not
as
the same band. It's not.
you just listened to Edema Planets, right?
Yeah,
And you said you liked that record.
yeah, it's good.
So, don't you think if they would have put that record out under a different name, it would have been much more like well received because it was stylistically it was so different.
I think
so. Yeah,
I think it would have just because Marky Chavez's name and his sound was already embedded into that.
Yeah,
band.
and that
to where you're just
sounded
like, eh.
nothing like the other stuff.
Yeah,
That-
when you have a super unique vocalist in any group, that's what it is. I mean, you have to. If you're gonna start, I mean, if he's gonna leave, dude, you need to start.
That would be like Jonathan Davis
the
leaving
sound.
Korn.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
how do you
sound.
replace that guy?
Yeah, you
See, but a
can't.
band
No.
like AC/DC, when Bon Scott died, they replaced him with a dude that sounded just fucking like him.
Was
you
that
know?
luck, or did they have like 20 auditions where they all sounded just like him? Like, I don't,
Yeah. Speaking of Korn and singers, have you heard Brian Welch's solo album?
yes.
Yeah, I heard some of it.
It's pretty interesting.
I haven't heard it.
The Christian record.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
one with him on the cover. With
Yeah,
his face.
yeah. The lyrics, you know, are a little,
Yeah,
they're a little generic for me.
Who
you
does
know?
the lyrics? He does.
He does.
He
Yeah,
sings.
he wrote
He
and
sang
sang.
and played the guitar, everything.
He
yeah.
recorded that here in Bakersfield too.
Yeah, I
a
like
good album.
the music, man. It took me a few times of running through it just because like when I first listened to it, the lyrics were a little, too Christian.
Overbearing,
They were
yeah.
they're too like I felt like I was in church, like listening to the church rock band. It would just,
Yeah.
I mean, good on him. You sing what you want. That's your music. But the shit is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much it sounds like Korn, even vocally. Because he does a lot of backups. He
Yeah.
did a lot of
yeah.
backups
He's
for
always
that band.
sang backup since the very beginning.
Yeah.
Brian Welch, man, that guy, you see what Korn did without him, and then as soon as he came back to the band, you see the level of music go right back up. Like when you're missing a piece like that, you really can't go forward. They tried, and the shit that they put out with him gone was nothing like the shit they put out with him in the
Who's their
band.
producer now? Is it? Because I know whenever they were, was it Ross Robinson?
Ross Robinson.
And they did
He was the dude for. That guy made so much. Good
Was he?
shit,
Did he do
dude.
the first four?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he did like
Yeah.
the early Deftones stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, Sepultura.
Yep.
Yeah,
Shit.
delicious. Anything that guy has produced, I usually like. There's an iTunes Ross Robinson like channel.
No way.
Oh,
All
that's
this-
just all Ross Robinson
Yeah,
bands.
yeah.
Because they have that signature sound. What was the? God damn it, Norma Jean. Have you heard the
Yeah.
Norma Jean record with Ross Robinson?
They had
Holy shit! It's Ross Robinson and Chino from Deftones, and it's crazy how a producer can really like influence your sound.
look at look at Astro Creep 2000 versus anything like White Zombie put out before.
Yeah.
or even the album before that was getting to that, but you listen to some of their old stuff and
Was
it's
that Lost Sixorcista?
yeah, and you're like, you listen to Astro Creep 2000 and you're like, holy crap. Like the production on that album is, when it came out, I thought it was like next level.
That guy
Super-
was ahead of his time, man. Ross Robinson in the 90s was on some shit, dude. That guy had the ear. He found all the bands, and he just put out dope-ass records. And what's funny is you don't see him putting out very many albums these days.
It's probably not profitable, maybe. I mean,
Well, that's back in the day of the, 2-inch reel-to-reel and stuff when he was making records. I mean, it's, the 90s, man. There was, you had to go to a legit recording studio. Now you see an update of a band recording a record and it's in a bedroom, a lot of times.
And that's the thing. That's probably what, like, all the technology that we have now is going to eliminate the middleman. You know what I mean?
See, but not only, I think with Ross Robinson, yeah, obviously he was a fucking exceptional engineer, right? But it was the way he influenced sound as a producer.
Yeah.
Now, regardless of people having freaking Pro Tools in their bedroom, you still need somebody to produce your sound. That's what people are missing these days, man. It's like guys like that.
But I think it all comes down to something like money. You know what I mean? Like, that's just another person that you got to pay out.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree and I disagree only because, you saw like a huge insurgence of like DJs, over the last like probably 15 years.
yeah.
And I'm in a cover band doing a ton of weddings, and they're paying for 8 people to be there with all of their equipment as opposed to one person with a DJ because people like live music, so there's always going to be that element, those, people out there who want that middleman there. It is worth it for them to have those people there in that role for the end product.
Yeah.
You can't, what a live band can produce on that stage is, something one person behind a pre-recorded track that is bled together. You push play, you can't.
It's energy.
Yeah,
right?
right.
Like you're putting off an energy. Everybody's up there, your blood, sweat, and tears went into crafting and playing these instruments. And you're up there and you're performing these songs and people are enjoying it. They're dancing. They're having fun. When you're standing behind, and it's the DJ's a lost art anyway, right? Because they're not on turntables and they're not matching BPMs and all that shit. Dude, a lot of these motherfuckers are playing off like an iTunes playlist.
Yeah.
Everything, they got all their blends in there. They're just hitting play. And they're up there freaking hyping and talking on the microphone, and, fucking fist pumping and shit. That's not a DJ, man. You know, but the guys that are up there and they're playing the music, that, you know, people, they feel that energy, and it's different.
There's a few. I know that we have a few DJs that work for us too, because sometimes we'll take a break and then they'll play. Or they'll play somewhere else during, you know, the same event or whatnot. And sometimes, you know, I've seen him do a few of those things. But I equate it to, you know, I have a Roland, you know, SPDX with like tracks and sound effects and stuff that we couldn't do what we do without this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a blend. There's still some out there, but I agree. I have definitely seen people go up there, push play, walk back off, and then go do whatever they need to do. Or there's a video on YouTube of a guy getting down on it, and you look down, and whatever he's getting down on isn't even plugged in. You know,
this is like early Sex Pistols where they had freaking Sid Vicious unplugged. And he's just up there, fucking bleeding all over the stage, shitting in the crowd.
Yeah, some Milli Vanilli shit.
I'll tell you one thing. You guys, well, you know, because I mention it all the time. I watch American Idol, right? I like singing people, you know. Mm-hmm. And the other day they had an episode on, and you guys know who Sia is?
Sia?
Yeah.
No.
SIA. That's her name.
No.
That's what she's called, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So she I don't know if you ever heard Flo Rida's song Wild Ones.
Yeah.
She's the one, Wild Ones, you know. Ooh, you know, she's that one, right? Okay. I'd never seen her.
Yeah.
Until she was like a coach on Idol, like somebody to give them advice, you know. She comes in and she's got this big ass giant bow on her head. Like I'm talking about a giant bow. I was like, what the fuck? And then I'm looking at her from the back and I'm like, why are they showing her from the back? Like, why would you do that? And then they finally show her in the front, and she has hair that hangs down to right here, and you could just see her lips. And I was like,
what the hell?
What the fuck? She doesn't show her face, dude.
Really?
Yeah, I seen her. I Googled her.
Well, she does now. She does off and on. Like there's yeah. That's why I recognize the name, because she for a long time she didn't ever.
She
show
said
the face.
that she okay when I first I was watching one of them WWE. I don't know, WrestleMania, I think, and the theme song was Wild Ones. Well, Flo Rida came on, he did his thing, and then some chick came out, but it wasn't her. You know what I mean? It was just some other chick. I thought that chick was the one that sang that part but it wasn't. It was this girl, but she didn't do live things like that yet. Like, that's why she didn't show up. She recorded it, but she didn't show up there. But, dude, that fucking chick has such an amazing voice, dude.
She's got the golden pipes.
Fucking shit. It's like, so, like, I was listening to some of the songs, and those idols were doing her songs. So something that she did, so they were all picking a song of hers and they were doing it. And then she did her own live song. And I was like, oh, fuck, this chick can fucking sing. But that brought me to a point of, that was kind of odd. I thought it was kind of odd that, you know, the whole face thing, you know, it's kind of like those, what are those European guys, the DJs?
Oh, the
Daft Punk.
Yeah, Daft Punk, right?
Oh, yeah.
They wear the helmets and shit. And then you got fucking
Well, it's like Slipknot and
Dead
Mushroom
Mouse.
Head and
Dead Mouse got the big ass
Mushroom Head,
fucking.
the less talented Slipknot.
I love Mushroom Head, man.
We seen
that
them
stuff
a couple summers ago. They were fucking terrible.
Yeah, well, you say they were terrible because you didn't pay attention to them. You know what I mean? I didn't. I didn't pay
Were
attention.
you
to
watching the show? Were you there?
Well, I was like walking by it.
Oh, okay.
I was already like, you know, when you go to festivals like that, you kind of gotta get a map of what you want to do, who you really want to see. I can't miss this band. I gotta be there for this set. So at this time, I'm leaving you. You know, and I think Mushroom Head was always one that I wanted to hear because I was always intrigued by the whole Slipknot and Mushroom Head controversy. So I always wanted to hear them. It's like I like I listened to their album and I'll be like, oh, it's cool. It's cool. I'd like to hear them live. I'd like to see them live. They got some wicked ass freaking mask shit going on. You know, like their paint and shit. They got some wicked ass shit. But I think at that time, I don't think it was on our list. You know,
It wasn't on our radar.
I think Body Count was like up or something.
We're down to go see Ice-T.
I was like, fuck yeah, I gotta go see Ice-T.
Hey, what's the guitar player's name?
Oh fuck!
Yeah, you were all up on that motherfucker
God,
too.
dude, that motherfucker was so bad. He
looks like
such
he's
a
about
fucking
65
OG
too, dude.
He is such a fucking OG, dude. And he was up there just fucking getting it. I was like, oh, this motherfucker's jamming. But
Body count.
But anyways, back to the whole weirdness. Maynard kind of got to thing about doing stuff like that too, and that was
Maynard's a fucking weirdo, big time weirdo.
Yeah, like he's fucking a genius when it comes to like, you know, lyrics and songs and you know everything he does. Like, I really haven't listened to Pussifer, but Perfect Circle's fucking.
Dude, Pussifer is legit too.
Are they legit?
Yeah, and from
really
what I
good.
hear, he's actually like a pretty normal, cool dude. I mean, that has to be part of his showmanship.
That's part of his shtick.
No doubt that's part of his show, you know. But I'm just like, damn, like for somebody that wants to go to your live event to see you because they hear you all the time when they're listening to you here, but if I want to go see this person and I go and see
you don't ever get to
silhouette
really see
of this person, or
yeah,
it's kind of like not a real intimate experience with that person no more. Like
that's Tool though, man. That's what you sign up for. You know,
yeah.
They've been doing that for 25, 30 years.
If you don't know at this point that what you're getting yourself into, then you know.
How many have you seen him?
I have never seen Tool. I haven't. If someone offered me a ticket for free, I'd go. I don't think I'd ever pay to go see them. They've never been a huge fan.
No.
I don't think they're bad by any stretch. I have never heard something from them and I'm like, that sucks. Everything I heard from them is good. You know, I like, what's that? 46 and 2.
Yeah.
That's a great song.
Love that song.
And there's a few of the other songs that are out there that I do like, but I just have no desire to go see them in concert.
No, I'm the same way. I wouldn't pay for Tool.
Wow.
I'd pay to go see a Perfect Circle. I would.
Yeah,
I've seen a Perfect Circle on their very first show ever. It was Coachella 1999, and they played at like 11 o'clock in the morning on a side stage. And we were walking, we got in there, and we were just kind of roaming around. And the headliners for Coachella in 99 were Tool and Rage Against the Machine. So we're walking around, and dude, Maynard's got a distinct voice. Like on Tool, you know, Maynard's Maynard. Nobody sounds like Maynard. There's many that have tried, but nobody sounds like Maynard. You're walking, and you hear that voice. You're like, holy shit, like that's Maynard. You turn over here, and he's not hidden behind a sheet painted blue with a freaking pointy bra on. He looks like a regular dude. And it was fucking crazy. We're like, what is this? You know, Josh Freese playing drums, you know, what's the guitar player? Billy Howard L. Like, we were just so blown away. They were playing all the shit off of Meredy Noms. And so, yeah, this is pre-internet. This is 1999. Like, what do you have? AOL 2.0?
Pre-affordable internet, yeah.
So, you know, you don't have, like, you're not on your iPhone and you're like, you see Maynard and you're like, oh shit, well, is he in a side project? Let me Google it. You know, no, you're witnessing something you had no idea that was even fucking happening. And then even after that, we didn't know what their name was. You know, like you didn't know what the hell it was. Like you're like, what did we just see? And then you see Tool later that night, and it wasn't until like maybe 14 months later that Meredy Noms came out, and I was in Pensacola. And I found out that Maynard put out, I got like a revolver or something, you know, and looked in there and seen that he came out. I was like, that's the fucking band that I seen, you know? But how the fuck did I even go down this path?
I don't know. You always
Dude, I started tweaking off on freaking A Perfect Circle and Tool and shit.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I took you down a weird rabbit hole.
I like that band. I had my iPod on shuffle the other day, and I was listening to A Perfect Circle, and they do a cover of a song by a band called Failure that was, I don't know if they were big at all. They came out with an album, I'm assuming late 90s. I picked up the CD at a Tower Records, and it just looked cool. The CD case, it was like $2. It was used. And it was like one of my favorite CDs for a long time. And I'm in my car driving, and the song comes on, and it's perfect circle, and it blew my mind because I didn't know anyone. I'd never heard anyone who even heard of this band before.
Yeah.
You know, and I think they're called the Statistics now. I think it's one dude. He does like everything, and I think it's called the Statistics now. I haven't even looked it up, but shit blew my mind. It was a pretty good cover too.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out, man.
Yeah,
I'm sure I've probably heard it.
I have it. I know it's on my iPod in the truck. But
I have like their complete like discography on iTunes, and it's got to be in there somewhere, right? So they only put out 2 records and a live album, right?
I don't know.
I want to say
No idea.
I think they
that's
only put
about-
out 2
don't
records,
know.
so it's got to be on there.
So we had another little thing that we were gonna do today with Mark here and his
Mark,
Kiesel guitar that he brought in.
yeah, we're doing an instrument review.
Yeah.
Marcus,
Right on. Okay. Where do I start, dude? Kiesel guitars. They're up and coming. We were talking about this earlier. They're doing things that nobody else has done before, dude. But they're definitely this guitar, dude, is the nicest guitar I've ever owned, dude. Flame top, 8-string. They just released. They just announced, I think, yesterday, that they're having the multi-scale Vaders now. So I'm gonna have to pick me one of those up. But yeah, dude, this guitar plays great. It has the tuners on the bottom, headless model. All their guitars are custom, so you order it straight from their website, dude. And I think the lead time is a month and a half for a custom U.S. guitar,
that's crazy.
which is unheard of, dude.
That's
We're
fast
waiting like
turnaround.
2 years for anyone else, dude. So they have a lot of awesome models, so I'm definitely going to keep checking them out. But yeah, and their pickups too. They do their own lithium pickups that
Nice.
sound great. I wasn't too sure about them, dude. But they compete with Duncans, with everything out there.
They're doing
very good.
they're doing so the Kiesel in this new Degen era, that's definitely a staple in your collection, right? You got to go 8-string. These guys are all playing like
It's the new thing, yeah.
Yeah,
there's
there's-
even 9s out there,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah,
that bands
I
are
see-
playing.
I see
That's a
That's
crazy ass
extreme.
video of what was the old guitar player after the burial? Justin
Justin
Lowe.
Lowe, yeah.
Justin Lowe. That video of him, the Ibanez video, him playing the 9-string to
8's enough for me, dude.
what is it, Neo Soul?
Yeah, Neo Soul.
God damn, dude, on a 9-string, it's freaking gnarly.
So for the Kiesel guitar, where do you find this at? Like you get on
Their website.
They got a website.
Yeah, they got a website. You can buy direct. They're super cool to talk with. They're very, very friendly and helpful. So,
prices. What kind of prices do they?
They have a wide
Like
range.
high
man.
end, low end.
You can get. They have guitars, dude. They can get bare custom guitar, like kind of just not anything crazy. I believe for like $1,300, $1,200 for a custom guitar.
That's cool for custom.
Yeah,
that's cool,
and they go.
man.
I mean, they have like signature ones that they do that are up to $10,000. I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's all That's all like different woods and stuff they're using.
exotic woods. Yeah. What I really like that they do is this new fretboard treatment. Like he stains the fretboard like different colors, which I don't think I've seen anybody ever do. So that's a new feature they do too, which is awesome.
The thing that I think is really cool with Kiesel, man, is their finishes, man. They have like the colors in their guitars. You just don't see a lot of shit like that, you know? So
Yeah.
it's super unique. Like the color you got on there, what is that? Like it's like a red.
I think it's called the California Burst Red.
It's like a
It's
red,
nice, man.
red
That's
velvet
killer.
cake.
Plus
or
the
something.
the woods that they are using on the tops and for the bodies, and the patterns on some of those woods are just out of this world.
You're never
Well,
going to be
freaking-
disappointed with
No.
the quality of anything on their guitars,
Yeah.
dude. Down to the frets, like they sand the frets. He was talking about they have this process where they put the fret, like something with the sanding on the edges, so you don't feel any frets sticking out like on the outside of the guitar. Which if you noticed on cheaper guitars, you could feel that the frets sometimes will come like loose and messed up, which is crazy. But
I kind of like the back piece right here. How
it's like a five piece, yeah,
it's awesome.
yeah,
man.
yeah.
It looks
quality,
great, man. That thing looks awesome.
It's super light. The Vaders are awesome for carrying around, dude. Like it's so easy to just put in the case and strap on your back. You don't have
Let me
huge
hold
case
that
on
thing.
it.
Let me see the weight.
Yeah, I think it's like
It's like a battle axe.
Yeah, I really like it, man. It's nice.
They'll do what are some of the options? They'll do like they'll thin the neck out a little bit for you too, custom.
So they'll make it just especially for you then.
Yeah, and then they have an option 50 is what it's called, which is stuff that's not on their website because they have a guitar builder website. You can go to and build the whole guitar, see the price, and then you can just leave it in there. If you don't want it, you can do another one. But option 50 is if you want something super unique that's not on there, they'll do anything, dude. It's a custom shop, you know. So
yeah, it's badass,
good
man.
quality.
Nice.
You know, that was the cool thing. Like when I went through the DW facility in Oxnard, that's a full blown custom shop. Like they were showing me drums. They did a custom drum set for you know, the actor Michael Chiklis, the Shield, the bald dude.
Yeah, he was the Fantastic Four. He was the Thing.
Is that who? Okay, yeah. So he's like a big time like poker player, right? So, and he's a drummer. So his friends or a movie studio or somebody was kissing his ass and wanted to get him this drum kit. So DW custom made him a kit with a hand of cards in the shells, but it was like laser cut, and each like card, the wood, it was like different types of wood that were ingrained into the shell. It was crazy, the amount of craftsmanship. And the same thing, the same technique that they used on his kit was the technique they used on Neil Peart's final kit, and it had the logo from 2112, the pentagram with the guy going into it, and like the moving pictures, and it had all that shit
like inlaid,
laser cut into the wood, laid in with like, if there was a green piece to the thing, it was a green piece of wood. You know, it was the craftsmanship, dude. I was just fucking blown away by the shit that they could do. You know, and everything, just like with the Kiesel guitars, you can't buy a Kiesel that wasn't custom ordered. And the same thing goes for DW drums. Even the kit that's sitting on the shelf at Guitar Center had to call and order that specific kit. So they don't just send you a 5-piece collectors. You know, Guitar Center Bakersfield wants, you know, the collectors and, you know, freaking Galaxy Glass, you know, in this configuration. So even when a music store orders it, it's a custom order for that music store.
I want that kit, the Galaxy Glass too.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite.
If I ever buy a DW new, when I can afford it, it's gonna be a black Galaxy.
That's
for sure.
Favorite, dude.
I don't know what kind of hardware though. I don't know if it's gonna be black chrome or chrome.
I want gold hardware.
You're one of those guys.
Oh,
yeah.
great.
It's one of those guys. It's kind of like the people who like Megadeth over Metallica.
That's me, guys.
Gold hardware.
That's fucked up, dude. I really like the gold hardware, man. What's wrong with that? Or the pewter hardware.
Pewter I can do.
That was tight.
Yeah. I don't know. Something with me. I think it's because I see like cars with gold on them, and it just like it causes a little bit of malfunction like on me. I don't even like chrome. My truck had a chrome grill on it from the factory.
Did you rip it off?
I pulled that thing off, put a silver one on, and I would need to replace the bumper, but I don't see the bumper that often. I don't walk around the back of the truck that often, so it doesn't bother me as much. But just I see these other trucks coming head on, you know, from the other direction, like just like mine, same color with that big chrome thing on the front, and I'm just, you know, I can't deal with it.
I feel that's how I feel about motorcycles though. Like my Harley, it don't have hardly any chrome on it. I think when they ride those with the ape hangers and it's all everything that's chromed, I hate that. It just looks uglier and shit to me. I want it all just stepped.
I love flat black is my look, dude.
That's
flat
mine. My Harley's flat black, dude. I love it.
I'll tell you this: when you're talking about Harleys, all that chrome, that's Harley. That's vintage Harley right there, man.
It is.
You got some new age shit. You know what I mean? Like that ape hanger shit with the
Sons
fucking
Anarchy shit.
with the old fucking the old feet are out this fucking far like that. That's some fucking real fucking Harley ass shit, dude. That shit's crazy,
dude.
man.
I got forward controls on my bike. My feet stick out. It looks cool.
Not like a fucking.
I look like a G on that thing, dude.
What do they control?
They control me going forward. Yeah.
Okay. I just didn't know if there was actual
your gear shifter on the left and your back brake on the right.
On those things.
No, on your for your feet.
Are they farther forward than normal?
Well,
Is that what you
normal
mean?
would be like right here, like a riding position where your legs are at like a 90 or
So
90
so they
degrees.
actually have the gear shift and everything
Yeah,
up front.
so I'm
Okay,
like,
well
my
then
feet are way up
that
here.
serves a semi-practical purpose.
It's more comfy for cruising down the road.
Yeah, it's like laying down.
Yeah, it's
You know?
pretty sweet.
Nice.
Dude, so does anybody else got anything to add to this podcast?
I got another question for Mike here, dude.
Yeah, we haven't got.
I want to know, since you're making the move to the East Coast, right?
Yeah.
So how long do you think before you find out if you want to keep doing the music thing?
Well,
You're gonna take a little time out, right?
I'm not gonna I'm not gonna like go there and like attempt to not play.
Yeah.
If someone, I mean, I already know a guitar player there that I met when I was overseas. He ended up moving to DC, and he works at a place that I want to work. So I'll already be hanging out with him. So I'm sure there will be some kind of music going on. And I have a Roland electric kit, so it's not like I can't play. I'll just set that thing up in an empty room or whatever and jam. But I don't know if I'm going to be actively seeking that kind of stuff as soon as I get there.
Yeah.
I think I might actually get a real job. I'll try and put my effort into doing that. I haven't had a real job for since 2014, early 2014. I think the contract ended I was on, and I've just been playing music since then. And not that I don't like my line of work, but out there, that line of work, for the amount of work you do, make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I, ultimately would, if I had to give up music to do that, I would.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to have to, but that's going to be a priority probably. And it really always has been. Even when that was a big issue in my original bands, Doxy specifically. I was with them for a long time, and we played a lot. And those guys wanted to go out and tour. Those guys wanted to go out and make money and be rock stars. And I was making at my job more than all of them combined. And I'm like, you want me to quit what I'm doing? And I liked what I did, to go and live in a van, for a year. And I'm like,
that's a tough pill to swallow.
So I feel bad because I eventually quit the band because that's what they wanted to do. And I'm like, well, I'm not doing that. I love you guys, but I've been working hard at what I do on, in a different arena. And I've already gotten myself to where you're going to take a long time to even try and reach that point.
Yeah.
Statistically, highly unrealistic that the band is going to generate that kind of money.
Yeah.
I'm just, not that they're not good enough. It's just, there's not that many bands out there doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. I'm not gonna avoid playing, but it's just not gonna be on my. I'm not gonna go there and hit the ground running, freaking hitting people up, guitar.
Yeah.
Because the one band, Republic of Music, talked about possibly opening up a East Coast branch or whatnot. Because there's a lot of money out there, and I guarantee there's bands out there making money, cover bands specifically. There's all these events out there. Obviously, there's a ton of people in the government, in high up positions that have galas and all their fancy dinners and need entertainment, and all that trickles down. So I'm sure there's a large industry there in that. So, but I don't know how competitive it is.
Cool.
I'm good at what I do, but I think that's probably another level of stuff. I'm just kind of middle
Don't
of the
sell
road.
yourself short, dude. You're like the best drummer I know. Dude, talking about another level, I just went on a cruise like last month, right? And I was watching the cover band that was playing on the cruise ship, and they were reading off of charts. Everybody had an iPad on their music stand. The drummer was playing to a click, and they were on a grid, and he had his chart, and they were taking requests, and they were just sight reading off of charts. The keyboard player, the bass player, the guitar player, I was blown away. I was like, these guys are fucking pros. Those guys are like consummate pros. It doesn't matter, dude. You just open it up. They're proficient enough to where they just play the notes. It's crazy to me. Like, that there's guys that have gotten to that level.
Well, it kind of speaks to us when we went to go see what was it, Damage Inc.
Damage Inc. Yeah, we did the cover.
Cover Metallica cover band.
Yeah, it was Damage Inc. and Motley Inc. and the Atomic Punks.
Yeah,
dude.
Shit.
Those guys, I know the Atomic Punks are good.
You know, the Atomic Punks, the Atomic Punks, they're gonna be better than seeing Van Halen at this point.
Oh yeah,
You turn your back to the Atomic Punks, and it's like you've been transported back in time to like 1982.
Dude,
and you're watching Diamond Dave. The guy looks like him. He has all of his like mannerisms and his stage presence. It was crazy. I was like, dude, these guys are Van Halen. They're better than Van Halen.
Dude, when they did the whole it was like vintage fucking Van Halen. They did the whole fucking where fucking what's his name fucking puts his fucking mic right here as his the little hop, and the guitarists are doing the hop, and I'm like, oh fuck, that
dude, it was just takes
classic.
you right back to the 80s, man.
Yeah, I was like, fuck, this is awesome, dude. It was fucking awesome. And then Damage Inc., dude. First of all, the dude fucking looked dead on fucking James Hetfield. I was like,
looks exactly like
James Hetfield.
It's eerie, dude.
What the fuck? Yeah. Had the fucking wristbands and everything. You know what I mean? I was like, oh shit, this guy is fucking. And then he came out and they were just blowing it up. They were ripping it. It was going off. I was like, that was one
another
of the best
thing. They're better than Metallica at this point, right? You know, they're playing all the old shit and they're playing it like on the money.
Yeah, some of the cover bands and the tribute bands are just at this point they're better than the real thing. Yeah. You know, I saw a Led Zeppelin cover band, you know, which I mean there's like a million of them, but
Zeppelin?
No, it wasn't Zeppelin. It was
they come through town.
It was I think it was Zeppelin USA.
Yeah.
And I'm, you know, like number one critic when it comes to Zeppelin. I grew up playing that stuff, and that's the kind of stuff that I play like note for note. Like there's all those little nuggets in there that make that song to me.
Yeah.
And these guys seriously impressed me. It's the best Zeppelin cover band that I ever seen. These guys are extremely good. And then there's another band, Don't Stop Believing, DSB. I think they're out of LA, but they're down in San Diego. It's a Journey cover band.
Yeah,
and you couldn't tell. You know, I saw Journey a few years ago with the new singer, and you couldn't tell with him either. You know, they're
that guy's money.
Arnel Pineda, I think his name is.
Killed it. Man. Killed it. And then I've seen this band. We opened up for them. Oh, it was a few weeks ago. They were there, and they just killed it. Like it was like it's pretty much musically the exact same show I just watched at this huge amphitheater.
Yeah,
you know, and these guys are just the singers from San Diego, awesome, and they're playing all the time. You know, making money playing stuff that's already been written.
And they'll never have to learn any new songs or like they learn
and they make money.
They play that for 20 years, dude, 30 years.
I wonder how that works though for paying. I wonder if they have to pay any royalties or anything for doing that.
Not for. I don't think unless they actually publish their music. Like I don't think you're playing shows. They're not. No.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. I do not know.
Yeah, I wonder how that works.
I'm not at that level where it would even have to consider that.
But like a band like Damage Inc., it's crazy because they make a spin off of the Metallica logo for their logo, and then they're playing all their music. So these guys are earning a living off of the work of another band. So I just don't understand how that would work. As far as like it seems like you'd be owing somebody some money.
Well, they're even taking part of their image by.
Yeah, they're even
look like them too. Yeah, I mean, like I seen some girls freaking out at that show for dude.
Dude, there were some 40-something-year-old ladies that were
at a metal show,
pretty moist
girls
for the Metallica lads.
Well, seeing Atomic Punks used to play down in Pacific Beach as Metal School or something like that. They had a different name, and they would play.
No, you know who was Metal School was Steel Panther.
Who's at the Atomic Punks? It's the same guys.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Steel Panther, hilarious. Yeah. I saw them at the House of Blues. It's the same guy. It's most of the same guys. Cracks me up. They're very funny. Their on stage antics are amazing.
Dude, that's still a band that I need to see. Steel Panther.
Yeah.
need to see 'em.
Well,
But
dude,
it's-
you've seen Steel Panther. We saw
Atomic Punks. It's
No.
it's the same show. It's just different music, and it's the same show that they played when I saw it was at middle school back in the day. But yeah, women galore, flocking to that kind of stuff.
You know who's going to be coming on the podcast soon, and it's somebody that you really dig, dude. It's going to be BC from Head PE.
No shit,
Yeah.
dude. I love Head PE. I haven't seen them in a long time. I think I saw them in 2000. Were you
At the Canes.
Canes? Yeah, yeah.
Dude, with the Pac Bell song that was our shit
Yeah.
back then, dude.
That brings me back.
Yeah, man. So we're looking forward to talking to those guys, man.
That's
what's
awesome.
funny is like that. BC has that sound, dude. Like he had that crank down snare. So
And that bass drum attack.
yeah, you
was
know what
like
that was? It was like that. He had those metal kick pads, like the Flam Slams, but it had a little like 1/8-inch piece of like sheet metal in there.
Right.
And funny story is when we were actually in the Marine Corps, I went and jammed with my buddies from high school, and they were playing at the dude's name was Matt Troy. I forget his brother's name, but it was his brother's house, and it was his band. And Head PE actually rehearsed there too, and BC's kit was in the studio. And we went over there, and he's like, well, let's jam. I'm like, well, yeah, can I play BC's drums? Like, yeah, dude, fuck it. So I'm like a dick, I go in there, and I'm like raising up the cymbals and like adjusted shit.
These guys.
Yeah.
These guys. I play. Oh man, I try not to do that. Sometimes I'll have to share kits depending on like the way it's set up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Come back and that shit is all jacked up. I'm like, you can't seriously play here for 20 minutes.
Just the way it is.
Just the way it is.
Yeah. Well, that was where I seen those metal kick pads. I was like, that's the secret to the bass drum sound. It's like I unlocked the mystery. Yeah, dude. I went and bought those. They sound like ass, though. They're terrible.
Yeah, it's something. Yeah, something the studio can do something with. I do session work, and the place I normally do it at, the kit that we record session work on is a John Bonham reissue. So I'm
Big
playing
Vista
a 20. It's not a Vista Light. It's the maple one, but it's
Okay.
like 14, 16, 18 with a 20. I think it's 26-inch kick.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're gonna record this thing on a pop song, or whatever we're doing that day.
Yeah.
And he's got like 3 mics in the drum, outside of the drum, and the thing sounds killer. It sounds like what a smaller, punchier drum would sound like.
Yeah.
But if you listen to it without your headphones on, like
It's all boom.
Yeah, it's like kettle drums, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a guy who lived up the street from me when I was in high school, and he had a John Bonham reissue kit. And it wasn't the Vista Light, it was the maple, right? Big Ludwig. And I played that thing, and I was like, oh my God, dude. I mean, it was like a marching bass drum. It was so loud, dude.
Like-a-doom, like-a-doom, like-a-la-la-la-la-la. And, just the bass drum never stopped making sound,
It just resonates for days. That's so funny.
And it's funny because cracks me up. He uses a Ludwig Speed King, old school Speed King on that kit too for the bass drum pedal. So
Is that the one with it without the spring? It has like the watch wound, like
yes,
the little gear?
yes, and you could hear it. It's just making all kinds of noise.
That was my first bass drum pedal. Was one of those
my
old freaking
goodness.
Speed Kings. That's so funny, dude. Talk some more about like your session work. I forgot to ask you about that, man. Like, what all have you worked on in there? Like, that's pretty cool. Do you just working on different shit?
Yeah, it's just whoever needs whoever's in the studio who needs work done. So they just call me up, if it's anything but like real soft like jazz or anything like that. I just don't have the finesse as a rock drummer to like, get the brushes out and start making soup, with that freaking snare.
Have you seen the movie Whiplash?
No, I have not.
Have you seen it?
No.
Nobody's fucking seen this movie.
What is that?
You guys all lose at life.
What is
Dude,
that?
It's a all right.
How old is it?
No,
first
dude,
of
it's
all?
only
It's
it's only
new.
like a year old.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
You remember the movie The Girl Next Door with
No.
Alicia Cuthbert?
yeah. The blonde,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
One of the weirdos in that movie, the dude that they called Klitz, he had the kind of like long hair and he's like kind of tall and gangly. So that's the dude in Whiplash, right? He's a jazz drummer and he's going to like a Juilliard school of music, and he's in this jazz ensemble, and it's just this like this director is just relentless, and this guy's like trying to achieve this perfection on this. It's like this virtuoso like jazz chart, and it's crazy, dude. Like it's like he's going through like psychosis trying to learn this thing, and this guy's like super overbearing.
I've seen the previews, and everyone that I know who knows that I play drums, because not everyone knows that apparently, but they're like, "Have you seen Whiplash?" No. Oh my God, you gotta go see it,
Dude, it's crazy. It's like the only movie made about a drummer.
People my friend hit me up the other day. He's like, "Have you seen Whiplash?" I haven't heard from this guy in like 5 or 6 months. I haven't seen him. No, I have not. Oh man, you got to see it. Let me know when you see it.
Well, I will
tell me
you,
if it's real,
I'll tell
you
you
know?
the same thing. No, dude, it's a good drum movie, man. It's really, really legit. I mean, dude, jazz is super, super hard, man.
That's the next level, man. That's probably the hardest thing that I'm trying, because I can play metal. I got speed and stuff like that, and I can do odd time signature stuff. But the finesse you need with jazz, as soft as you play, opens up a whole other realm of sounds that the drum can make when because when you hit it hard, that it's just making that one sound. But when you start down here and you have that whole range up to that level where I would normally play to mess with, you can get all kinds of really interesting sounds and notes and just finesse.
A track you turned me on to, because I started playing and dabbling with country music with Luke, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you turned me on to the Miranda Lambert, "Mama's Broken Heart." You said that you guys cover that in your band, and it's not your typical like drum orchestration, right?
Not for country.
No, and it's like a like you're talking about this range of sounds. It's like that drummer in there is using his kit like a painter's palette. He's using like every dynamic range of every drum on his kit.
Mm-hmm.
And listening to that, I've never had an appreciation for anything like that until recently. And listening to that and trying to digest that, I'm like, holy shit. Like whoever wrote and recorded that on drums is a master. It's seriously like that guy is using so much taste and dynamics.
Yeah, and it's a pop country song, which is it kind of blew me away when I first heard it. I was listening to the song.
That's got some little
like,
tasty
bits.
bits.
I'm like, oh shit! It even starts with a sick ass, just like weird off time fill, like roll, drum fill in, and then it's kind of a 2-beat, but he's got all these little, little nuggets.
Yeah, the little cymbal fills. And
There's even like a china in there, or like
it's like a stack.
Yeah, and I'm like, what am I listening to? I'm listening to like Dream Theater. We got stack going on with this like odd fill in.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then Miranda Lambert starts talking about how she
wants to drink booze and
wants to murder her ex-boyfriend or whatever.
Shit.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
That's what I like about playing in the cover bands, is I get exposed to way more music than I ever would dare to try and take in myself.
Yeah.
And it's given me a much larger appreciation for just all the other kinds of music out there. Because even myself, people like, you listen to country, I'm like, no, that all sounds the same, and I'm not the point now where I can tell the difference. And there is appreciable differences, and there's appreciable, music. There's good artists out there, doing genres that I don't care for, that I've been exposed to, doing this kind of stuff, and it's just made me a way better drummer. I'm way more versatile, maybe not like technical aspect, not so much, but just versatile feel, country feel, hip hop feel, whatever the case may be. I'm good at emulating those things now. And it just, whenever I do something myself, if I go to write music again or play drums in an original band, I have a much larger palette to work with.
Yeah.
Because of all of the different things that I have learned being in all these, different genres of music.
That's funny because, I've known you for a long time and I've seen you play drums, over many years, right? And hearing you, 5 years ago compared to the way you play now, you can definitely tell. You've always been amazing, dude. Like you've always been a badass metal drummer and shit, But hearing you now, you have so much more flavor. And that's something that I've always been envious. Like every time I've seen you play drums over the last couple of years, I'm like, damn, like I can't do that shit. Like, it's because I don't sit there and I don't go through the catalog like you do, So it's something that would probably behoove most of us to kind of step out of our comfort zone. Like I've always stayed in that one groove, I've always played just rock and metal drums forever, But stepping out and getting the experience, you could bring that could all come full circle and come back to metal, and it'll make you better.
Yeah, I mean, it'll surprise you, dude. Like listening to same thing with me. I grew up on oldies, 80s metal, country, blues, and whether I knew it or not, like that influenced my playing. Like to this day, like people will be like, "Oh, you sound like this person." I'm like, I never thought of that, but that's somebody that I used to listen to growing up. So it's definitely super impactful, dude, on your playing, whether you know it or not. You have that ability to throw that in there for sure, especially for what you're doing.
Yeah, and it makes you. I mean, in my case, it makes you employable.
Yeah,
you can't. I was kind of lucky to get in when I got in, just the situation at hand. There was definitely better people out there, but I just kind of fell into the position I'm in, and now because of that, I'm a much better musician. On the kit and even with people, because I have to work. The bands aren't, they're not like, this is the band. The One Republic of Music, we have people coming in all the time. I'll play with, 2 different bass players in a weekend, different singers. We'll have trumpet players and saxophone players come in just for gigs every now and then. And that's where those people come in who just have a chart.
Yeah.
Because everyone, I mean, I'm telling you, I'm like the caveman of my group. A lot of these guys are super sick musicians, and they all read. They all can change. They can transpose on demand.
I was going to ask you that too, actually. Like, how important is reading music as far as session work too? From what I hear, it's super important.
And unless you're like the go-to guy for like the guy who's engineering or producing or mixing, that's if you want work, you're gonna have to know how to do that stuff. I've lucked out. They like me. I show up when I say I'm gonna show up. I play. It only takes me a little bit to learn what I'm playing.
So don't say that you lucked. You're a good drummer. That's why. Just admit it. Yeah. Just say that. Like, it's not like you're not a good drummer. Yeah.
Well, I just think that they're the best people at their jobs aren't always the one who get the job.
Yeah.
And I think I'm nice and I show up when I'm going to show up and I can play and I take direction well. If you want something from me, I can 99% of the time give you what you need. Yeah. So that it makes it, because they know guys who are better, but they're like, I can't.
Impossible to work with them.
Guy. Yeah. So, but yeah, knowing all that stuff and learning how to do that is going to make you definitely way more employable in what I do, because especially the transposing stuff, reading not so much, unless you're doing some stuff like Ted was talking about earlier on a strictly reading gig. But being able to transpose as a melody player, obviously the drums, it's funny because they're like, we're going to play it in D. And I'm like, I can't play D today.
Let me retune all my drums.
Yeah, right.
Drop D.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're Terry Bozzio, you would do that.
Yeah,
though.
right.
Oh.
He's like,
but well, even he has enough instruments to transpose. He can just, I'm going to move this. He just moves his whole pattern 2 drums to the left. And that's, essentially, what transposing on the guitar and stuff like that does. But these guys will do it on the fly, You'll have, and even if you have the chart will be in C. Oh, we're playing it in E flat.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we'll have this singer. This singer is a soprano. And then the next time the other singer is a alto.
Yeah.
So a lot of these songs in the original key do not work.
I've had very little experience with that, but that happened to me one time, and everybody like on point was like, let's transpose it. Okay, and they start playing. So I'm like sitting there pretending like I know what I'm doing, and I have to stop and be like, dude, I can't transpose on the fly like that. That's a crazy good skill to have. You know?
Yeah, it is crazy. And even the singers too. You know, the singers will transpose because one singer can't do this. So
for
the other ones
vocals,
can. Yeah. So everyone brings the whole song down a half a step or a full step. And it blows my mind because I'm just back there just banging on shit, you know, like I don't have to do nothing. These guys have to rethink the entire process, you know, on the fly. It's pretty impressive. Yeah. I'm always amazed by some of the people I get to play with. I meet really good musicians all the time, and it's cool. It's really nice to play with people who can play, you know, and people out there doing what they like to do.
Yeah, dude, I think that this was like a super important podcast.
It is.
Because like what are we doing? You know, we're trying to get informations out to musicians. And you know, we have a lot of bands on here and people that they're trying to make it and they're doing their thing, but this is the other side. You know, it's another avenue for you as a musician to make money and continue doing what you're doing if you want to go that route. You know, and people it's not something that's always like the topic for a huge conversation like this. So this is like really important that people can hear what it's like to be in one of these working bands, dude. Yeah. So it was really cool, dude, that you came on, Mike.
About that side.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Did you have fun?
Yeah, that's been a good time. It's, you know, I don't get to talk about it that much, I guess, because everyone, you know, a lot of people I'm around are those people.
Yeah.
You know, so they don't, you know, you're not talking about what you both know already. It's not an exciting conversation.
That's like when I have like something exciting for drums, dude. You're the guy I call. I'm like, God, there's only one person I can talk to about this. I got to call Mike and he'll understand. Like, like when I was shopping, I was like, man, I'm going to buy new cymbals. I got to call Mike. He'll be like, all right, bud, this is what you need. You know? Nice. He lines you up, man.
Yeah. I've been getting picky with my cymbals lately. I've never been a picky drummer, but lately, you know, the last set and now since then, I'm just kind of like, I need that one, and it has to be $350, you know, for a fucking cymbal. Of course. And that's the only one that sounds good. Is the most expensive one.
Dude, we're big gearheads, dude. Like we always do, kind of like a gear breakdown on what the people that are on the podcast are using. You know, so do you want to break down your setup that you gig with?
Sure. So it's a DW Collectors. What do we got? 10, 12, 14. I don't bring the 16 very often because it's just an extra drum to carry, and it really doesn't add too much, you know. Plus, I have to turn a lot, and I don't want to stretch that far. So, and then the 20. It's a 22 kick. I have a DW. It's a 14 by 6.5 snare. It's a maple with a walnut outer and inner ply. It's freaking delicious. I love that drum. It's fucking awesome, dude. It's really good. I have a DW. It's a 9,000 rack. So the toms are on the rack. The two toms are on the rack, and then all my cymbals are on the rack too. So it's got two booms that come down. I have 16-inch Sabian AAX accelerator crash on the left. On the right, I have it's a 19-inch Sabian HHX Evolution crash. The ride switches. I have like 3 or 4 different rides that I go through depending on what I'm doing. I have the normal one's just an AAX. It's an AAX, I don't know, rock ride or something like that. That's the one I use the most. It's the brightest, and it cuts.
Is it the raw bell?
No. It's not. No, it's a polished one. But you know, those cymbals are the brightest thing that I play, that I've been able to find that are loud and they don't break. You know, because it's really interesting being in a live setting. A lot of times we're not the kit's not mic'd except for the kick, you know, or the snare. So I need something that's going to cut through the mix, you know, and playing some like Zildjian super dark. A lot of times that's not going to project out there. So I like the brighter cymbals. What's that? think you have the same thing. AAX.
The AA
accelerator
Yeah,
hats.
those things cut.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
crazy loud.
Yeah, I like them. They're crisp. They're crisp. I think it's like DW 9000 stand. I have a what's the new Tama
Iron Cobra.
the new one, the Speed Cobra,
Yeah.
which I'm not completely sold on. It feels weird. It reminds me of a demon, like the demon pedals, and I do not like those.
Yeah,
at all.
I've got one sitting in a bag. I can't. I've had that Pearl power shifter for 16 years,
yeah.
and I tried going to the Demon, and I had to go back.
Yeah, I bought it because it looked nice. It's all silver, and it's the newest thing. And I have an original Iron Cobra, and I was like, I'll try the new one.
Yeah.
So I bought it, and I'm not. It takes a lot of tweaking for it to get to where I like it. But my favorite's the Power Shifter Eliminator, the Pearl. I think is the best double pedal that I've used by far.
It's so rock solid, man. And I tried to really love the Demon, and I had to go back, and it's like, I freaking begged my wife to let me buy this new bass drum pedal, and dude, she would be pissed if she found out I'm not playing it. By the way,
that's funny.
Good thing she don't listen to this podcast. Right?
Yeah, right.
But you just go back to what
Hopefully.
you know, dude. It's like
Yeah,
it feels good.
It's a good pedal. I like DW's 9000 pedals too. They're double pedals. It's like the most solid pedal I've ever played. It's just super solid feeling. It is butter. It is so smooth.
The chain drive, though, right? Do you
Yeah.
like direct drive pedals?
No, chain.
It gets a little. It throws my timing off that it's so precise. You're used to a little bit of lag in your slave pedal, and with the direct drive pedals, they're so crisp. It throws your timing off that you're so used to compensating for your weak foot,
Right.
And the travel through the chain, and it takes up the slack, and boom, it goes through the shaft. With the direct drive pedals, they're so responsive that you have to completely reprogram the way that you play.
Mm-hmm.
It's rethinking the whole mechanism that you've used for so many years, the timing and playing drums. It throws that off. That's the one thing that I noticed with direct drive pedals, which
it's too good.
It's too good. It is too good, and it's not a knock on they're manufactured. I mean, insane. It's crazy the workmanship that goes into making those pedals, but that little bit of lag, man. You've just been using it for so long that it's hard to get away from that.
That's funny. That's funny.
So that's what I noticed. But dude, thanks for sharing your kit. And anybody got anything else, dude? Are we gonna wrap this thing up and party now or what?
It's Easter Day tomorrow, guys.
Yeah, we got the Easter bunch.
I had an early Easter dinner today. It made me happy.
Nice. That's why I can't wait for. I can't wait to go to sleep and wake up and eat Easter.
It's like Christmas.
Barbecue.
It is.
but
Dude, we're
Easter,
gonna have
yeah.
ham tomorrow. It's gonna be
Easter ham.
Cindy's gonna be in there cooking. It's gonna be on point.
Yeah, but thanks for coming on, dude.
Yeah,
It
man.
was-
Appreciate
Yes,
it. Fun.
thank you for having me. For sure, it's been
Nice.
fun.
All right, man. This is the Beat Lab. We're out.
Right.